Is good credit for white people?
Good credit is for white people, black people, brown, yellow, green, whoever. It's
Okay.
good credit is forever for whoever.
What kind of life differences are there between people who have good credit and people who have bad credit?
The biggest difference is money. So if you have bad credit, you're essentially spending more money in your lifetime than you have to.
Damn.
If you have good credit, it's just, you going to, let's just say you going to get a house and, you can get a lower interest rate of like 2.5.
Mhm.
And, let's just say your average mortgage is like 1,200 or something like that. And then, you're getting 2.5% on top of that, it may equal up to, maybe like 13, 1,400 or something like that. But
Damn.
then if you got bad credit, it can get up to as high as like 7%, and you're paying almost $1,900 in your mortgage. And that's $800 difference that you could be saving for yourself to, go on a vacation or, just to do something else. So
Yeah, you know what? We put it like that. It's a couple of things can just change around our whole lives for the better or for the worse. Who do we have here?
I'm Spencer Bass. I'm a credit and funding consultant. I help people fix, build, and leverage their credit to secure their funding and build lasting financial independence. My focus is Metro 2 compliance,
Mm.
strategic credit positioning, and turning
Oh,
strong credit profiles into real funding opportunities with wealth creation.
all right. So we hear a lot about credit repair. Can people do it on their own? I, I'm a fan, Spencer. I don't know about you. If someone's better at something than me, I am happy to pay them. What's your take on
Yeah, I would say yes, you can definitely do your credit repair by yourself. My thing is, it may take a little bit longer, but if you
it?
have someone who has the information, like you said, pay them so they can make it a little bit faster. So if you do it by yourself, it could take you, a year and a half, 2 years. But if you, pay someone to assist you, it could take, 3 to 6 months, maybe even a year. So now
Mm.
you've shortened your time to, get to whatever you would like to do faster.
That's a good point. Where do people go wrong with their credit, and why do people stay with bad credit?
A lot of people stay with bad credit because we just were never taught it. Like in school, that's not in the curriculum at all. They teaching you who the presidents are, something about geometry. I don't know. I barely paid attention in school, but I mean, of course, I didn't know anything about credit, and it's like most of the time, our parents they didn't know anything much about it either, so they weren't telling us anything except either not to use it or just use cash to, do whatever you would like to do. As far as um, like mistakes that we may have is, getting a credit card and using it and maxing it out, but then making a minimum payment. So let's just say you have $1,000 credit card
Yeah.
and you make the minimum payment of, I don't know, $20 or something like that. You still used like 98% of your car, or yeah, like 98% of your card, which is bad. You want to try to keep it in that sweet spot of, 1 to 9%. If you are going to use it, pay it down. And if you're going to, leave a balance on there, leave it between 1 and 9%. But yeah, not making the payments on time, using the credit card to the max and leaving it, having too many inquiries within a short period of time, because that makes you look like, you just out here giving yourself away trying to get, some funding from somewhere.
Right.
Um, and, things like that.
What what are some myths about credit that aren't true? So here's one that I've heard. You tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong with this one. That once you file for bankruptcy, your life is over forever. Is that true or untrue?
That is untrue.
Okay.
Um, so you can get a bankruptcy, and that's basically, to kind of protect you in a sense, so that you can kind of start over your life. But with, with repairing your credit, there's a way that you're able to get that bankruptcy off of your credit report from reporting, I should say, so that you're able to still use your credit to, you know, move your life further a little bit faster. The way that you do that is with Metro 2 compliance, and the bureaus, that's what they go off of, is their Metro 2. And that's been around since 1997. But again, a lot of us never heard of that. So, you know, it's a lot of things like that to, you know, and basically it's, you have your 3 credit reports, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and they're getting paid to report things. So they're not in your favor, really. They're just, because you're not the one giving them $20 per, you know, inquiry or whatever. And so they're doing that, and it basically, their compliance is, it has to show 100% accurate for everything. So if one thing's off, you can go ahead and dispute that with Metro 2 and to say, hey, because this is not 100% accurate, you need to take it off. And it's not necessarily that you're asking them, you're telling them. And, you know, that's the mind state you have to get when you're repairing your credit. Not that you're asking anybody to do anything for you, you're telling them, hey, get it done.
That's deep. Okay. Okay. Myth or fact? If you have collections on your credit report, don't pay them. I heard don't pay them. I heard pay them. Which one is correct?
I would say it just depends on the circumstance. So if it's maybe like $100 or $200 and you have it, I would say go ahead and pay it. But the pin to that is, you want to make sure that when you pay it, you're telling the creditor, hey, I'm going to pay this, but you need to also delete it off of my account, because a lot of them, they'll just take the payment and won't delete it off. So now you're still stuck. You don't pay them and you're still stuck however many years, you know, with that reporting to your credit report. So, but if it's a higher amount and you're trying to, you know, do some business or still trying to get some credit cards or something like that, again, dispute that, because technically they aren't supposed to be, you know, reporting that to your report, because they aren't the original creditor at all. So you want to go ahead and dispute that and get that off your report so that you're able to, you know, go on and with your ventures, whatever it may be.
I've been hearing a lot about Metro 2 compliant. What is Metro 2?
Metro 2 is basically the rule book that the 3 credit bureaus have to follow, their compliance, basically. So it's either, and it's black and white, it's either this or it's that. And like I said earlier, it's 100% that it has to be. So you can have your credit report, and let's just say for your credit card, let's just say it says that it's 30 days late or something, but you know that you made the payment on time, or let's just say 60 days late. You know that you made the payment on time, but they're still reporting it as that. You can go to them and to say, look, I have proof that, you know, this is not showing correct. You need to go ahead and do some research, and you need to, once you do your research, you either need to update it or you need to delete it. But either way it go, it needs to be corrected, because it's hurting my score.
So it's a simpler way that it's a simpler path to repair somebody's credit.
Yes, it's basically the exact rules that the credit bureaus are using that, again, nobody would really know unless you would research it. Okay. So, you know, like creating just regular dispute letters and not knowing their language. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So with the Metro 2, it's like you're sending in your dispute letters, and you have they have an AI system, and it's called eOscar. eOscar basically is when you send in your dispute letter, they're opening the letter, of course, and they're having somebody feed it into their machine to have the AI, you know, read it. If you don't have the correct codes or the correct language of Metro 2, it's basically going to say, you know, they're going to stall you out. They're just going to try to, you know, deter you from disputing the information that you're disputing. But if you have the, you know, correct codes and, you know, you have the correct language, they're still going to try to stall you out, but they know that you know what you're talking about, and it requires a human to actually go and look at your letter and to, reply back to you. So you're breaking away from having your letter being read by AI to an actual person.
Okay. I hear a lot about business funding. How do you get it? Why do people need an expert like you to get it for them? Why not just get it on their own?
So with business funding, you can set you up an LLC, and the LLC is pretty simple to set up. But with setting up an LLC, anybody can get one, but you want to make sure you structure it correctly, because they may have small business owners. They have a small business, but have their home address, as their address for their business. A lot of these banks are going to go in, they're going to type in that address, and they're going to see your house. That doesn't look professional. So it's like, will they give you some funding? Maybe. But why would you want to go with maybe when you can get it for sure? So, you want to try to get, a business address attached to your profile, get a business 800 number, just structure your business correctly. So then when you're going into the bank, that you are, have a higher chance of getting funding and a higher amount of funding. As far as why you would want to have someone like myself to assist you with that is, again, just like with your personal credit, some of this stuff you may know, but again, you may go get yourself funded for 10,000, but if you can have someone get you funded for 100, potentially, 150, 200,000, why wouldn't you do that? Maximize. If you have the potential to get that, I would say go get it.
Makes sense. It makes sense. So what's the minimum credit score that we have to get business funding?
I would say you would want to have, it all depends, but I would say we try to shoot for 720, a 720 score. But again, it's not just based off just the credit score. You want to make sure you have a strong profile, and with, making sure you have, especially if you're a new business, because you may have to personal guarantee. That's where you're attaching your social security number to your application. Also, if it's less than 2 years, and it's saying, if something happens, hey, come get me, basically. And so the way to kind of set that up to where you can still get a decent amount of funding is to make sure that your personal credit is, on point. So again, it's not all about the score. It's about making sure that you're making your payments on time, that you're not maxing out your credit cards, that you have a good mix of credit, whether it be, credit cards, loans, personal loans, or auto loan, or home loan, just a good mixture, not having too many inquiries, things of that nature. And then, once you have that, you're able to go for business funding to get that. But yeah, 720 is, that score that you kind of want to get to with a good profile.
Someone sees this, they say, I like Spencer. I like what he's talking about. I need my credit fixed. It's jacked up. How much money do they need to have to come talk to you?
Usually I'm charging $997 for my services. Okay. But because I'm on here, I'm going to drop it down to $397.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, because the holidays coming on, I don't want to knock anybody's head off. So $397, to get your credit repair started. And as far as funding, I'm not going to get paid with that unless, you get paid. So you get paid, and then I'll take 10% from that, from your funding.
I call that a fair deal.
I try to be fair,
The thing about credit, when it's not good, it's always on your mind.
Yes.
So you could say, oh, it's not bothering me, but it is. It's bothering you because you know that you can't rent a car at Avis. You can't put down a security deposit at a hotel on a credit card. It has to come out of your own cash. If an emergency happens and you have to move your family, you can't do that with ease. It's always bothering you, even if you act like it's not. So there's no better time than now to act. And for anyone and here's the thing about having bad credit, because I've been there, it's embarrassing. Let's just call it what it is. It's embarrassing. But nobody cares. You're an expert. You see all types of stuff.
Yeah.
You can't surprise you with anything. So holla at Spencer, get it fixed. 397 is not going to last forever. How can they find you, good brother?
You can find me on all socials. That's Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Snapchat at Spiffy Original One. So that's SPIFFYORGINAL, the number 1. On YouTube at Spiffy Original. On Facebook, Spencer Bass. Or you can just email me at info@spiffyoriginal1.com. And I'll gladly reach back out to you.